Before you buy another product from Tesco, especially if you're over 55, you need to hear this. Because behind the bright aisles and the familiar blue and red logo are everyday items that look perfectly harmless, yet have repeatedly appeared in official recall notices. And here's the part: most shoppers never imagine some of these products were avoided even by Tesco employees themselves, including staff who receive store discounts but still refuse to bring certain items home. It sounds impossible, doesn't it? A trusted supermarket, one of the biggest in the UK, selling foods that later turn out to contain packaging glue, dangerous bacteria, or even the wrong use-by dates printed weeks into the future. Products that families buy for convenience. Products older adults choose because they believe large retailers are safer than small shops. But stay with me, because in the next sections, we'll walk through the items that insiders warn about, and why these risks are especially serious for seniors with weaker digestion and lower immunity. And by the end of this investigation, you'll know exactly which products to avoid and what safer alternatives you can choose instead. Food safety in large supermarket chains is something most shoppers rarely think about. When you walk into a Tesco branch, you expect consistency. You expect that every product on the shelf has passed proper inspection, that the date on the label is correct, and that anything unsafe would never reach your home. But recent recall notices and internal reports show that this trust may not always match reality, especially for older adults who are more vulnerable to foodborne illness. Regulators like the Food Standards Agency exist to protect consumers, yet they typically act after a problem is detected, not before. That means contaminated or incorrectly labeled products often reach thousands of homes before anyone realizes something is wrong. And when recalls do happen, many shoppers never see the notices. They're posted quietly near store entrances or on websites that most older consumers rarely check. Another issue is the growing reliance on automated packaging and printing systems. Machines that print use-by dates or seal packages can malfunction without immediate detection. For younger, healthier individuals, a mild case of food poisoning might pass in 24 hours. But for seniors, the same exposure can lead to dehydration, kidney strain, or complications that require hospitalization. Marketing also plays a powerful role. Tesco's Finest label makes products appear premium and carefully crafted, while budget ranges such as Stockwell or Hearty Food Company are packaged to look simple and trustworthy. Yet behind the packaging, many items contain cheaper ingredients, heavy preservatives, or inconsistent quality control. For someone on a fixed income, these low-cost options seem attractive, but the long-term health trade-offs are often hidden. In short, this investigation matters because the risks are real, and the consumers most affected are those who assume they're protected. Older adults, caregivers, and families deserve clearer information, and understanding the patterns, mislabeling, contamination, poor quality ingredients will help you protect your health every time you shop. The first item concerns a premium holiday dessert. Many shoppers trust Tesco's Finest mince pies. These products are marketed as higher quality options with carefully selected ingredients and superior craftsmanship. Yet several production batches were recalled after pieces of dried packaging glue were found inside the pies. This was not a theoretical risk. Fragments of adhesive from sealing machinery had detached and entered the food during processing. Because the issue occurred across multiple dates, it indicated a deeper failure in equipment maintenance and quality monitoring. For older adults, ingesting non-food materials can cause digestive irritation and discomfort, especially when the body processes contaminants more slowly. Despite the elegant packaging and premium branding, this incident shows that visual appearance does not always reflect safety. Even Tesco employees admitted they avoided these batches entirely after the recall. The next concern involves Tesco's chicken skewers, advertised as a convenient protein option for quick meals. The problem emerged when a batch of skewers carried a use-by date that was 13 days later than the true expiry date. Poultry is one of the most perishable foods, and harmful bacteria such as Salmonella or Campylobacter multiply rapidly after expiration. The incorrect date gave customers a false sense of security, leading some to store and cook the product long after it became unsafe. According to internal reports, the error resulted from a malfunction in the date printing system combined with missing final checks. For seniors, consuming spoiled chicken can trigger severe dehydration and complications requiring hospital care. The packaging's fresh and ready messaging further contributed to misplaced trust. Another issue arose with a packaged mix of red cabbage and apple. This product appears wholesome and simple, often chosen for salads or quick side dishes. However, an entire batch carried a use-by date almost 3 weeks later than it should have been. Pre-cut vegetables are highly vulnerable to bacterial growth due to increased surface exposure. When stored beyond their true safe period, they can harbor pathogens that cause digestive upset. Testing by authorities revealed the correct expiry should have been mid-December, not late December, as printed. For older adults, even mild contamination can lead to prolonged discomfort and weakness. Yet the product's bright labeling and washed and ready-to-cook message made many shoppers assume superior cleanliness. This case reflected ongoing issues with date accuracy in Tesco's produce section. One of the most concerning incidents involved Tesco's tzatziki dip, an item eaten cold directly from the container. A tested batch was found to contain active salmonella bacteria, prompting an immediate recall. Because this dip is not heated before consumption, any contamination passes directly into the body. This increases the risk significantly, especially for seniors who have lower stomach acid and weaker immune responses. Reports suggested that the contamination could have occurred either at the supplier level or during packaging within Tesco's processing sites. The failure to detect the bacteria before distribution raised questions about the rigor of microbiological screening. While the product's design and labeling evoke freshness and Mediterranean simplicity, the underlying risk in this case was substantial for vulnerable consumers. A similar safety concern affected Tesco's cooked beef slices, a ready-to-eat item often used for sandwiches. These slices were labeled with a use-by date 7 days later than the correct one. Ready-to-eat meats carry particular risk because they are consumed without reheating, meaning bacteria like Listeria, known to thrive in refrigerated environments, can remain active. Listeria infections are especially dangerous for older adults, potentially causing severe neurological complications. Investigations showed that the date error likely occurred during a lapse in final label verification. The reassuring ready-to-eat messaging on the packaging may have caused many customers to overlook the need to inspect dates carefully. This event added to the pattern of repeated date label failures. Concerns also surround Tesco's Stockwell line, the successor to the older Tesco value range. After its rebranding, many products in this line saw noticeable reductions in ingredient quality. Items such as mayonnaise, beans, and yogurt often contain more water, cheaper oils, stabilizers, and sweeteners compared with mid-range alternatives. While affordable pricing appeals to customers on fixed incomes, these formulations offer limited nutritional value and may strain digestion. The refreshed packaging creates an impression of improved quality, yet the ingredient lists tell a different story. For older adults who rely on nutrient-dense foods, these cost-cutting substitutions can negatively influence long-term health. The Hearty Food Co. frozen meals present another set of challenges. Though marketed as comforting home-style dishes, many options contain high levels of sodium and saturated fat. The recipes rely on inexpensive ingredients and heavy seasoning to compensate for low-cost production methods. Excess sodium can elevate blood pressure, while high saturated fat can worsen cholesterol levels, both critical concerns for seniors with cardiovascular conditions. The branding suggests reliability and warmth, but the nutritional profile often falls short of what older consumers need. Employees familiar with the products frequently choose alternative brands when shopping for their own families. Miss Molly's desserts aimed at families and children are similarly problematic. Despite playful and colorful packaging, many items in this range contain artificial flavors, sweeteners, stabilizers, and thickeners. The ice cream is often described as icy rather than creamy, and the cakes can taste distinctly artificial. These additives may cause digestive discomfort for older adults, especially those with diabetes or sensitivity to processed sugars. The marketing creates an impression of fun and indulgence, but the ingredient quality is far below that of standard branded desserts. Employees report frequent customer complaints about flavor and texture. Tesco's Butcher's Choice meats, another budget line, also raise concerns. Several products are pumped with water and brine to increase weight and tenderness, meaning customers receive less actual meat than the package suggests. When cooked, the meat shrinks significantly as the added water evaporates. Ground meats in this range often contain high fat percentages, contributing to elevated cholesterol when consumed regularly. The added sodium and preservatives help maintain shelf life, but place extra strain on the heart and kidneys, two areas where older adults are particularly vulnerable. The branding implies butcher-level quality, yet the ingredients and production methods reflect a very different reality. Finally, numerous employees emphasize a broader and more serious issue. Any product approaching its use-by date should be treated with caution. Repeated labeling errors across multiple categories indicate that Tesco's date printing and verification systems are not consistently reliable. When items are close to expiration, even a small misprint can push them into unsafe territory without customers realizing it. For seniors, consuming slightly expired foods can have far more severe consequences than for younger adults. Staff members often avoid short-dated items themselves, citing multiple experiences with mislabeled goods. This widespread concern makes date accuracy one of the most important risk factors shoppers must pay attention to. Among all the issues uncovered in this investigation, one stands out as the most alarming, not because it involves a single product, but because it affects every category on the shelves. It is Tesco's repeated failure in managing use-by dates, a problem that has led to multiple recalls in a short period of time and raised questions about the reliability of a system millions of people depend on every day. What makes this especially serious is that incorrect date labeling is not always visible, and customers often have no way of knowing that the printed information may be wrong. When the Food Standards Agency issues recall notices for mislabeled chicken vegetables and ready-to-eat meat, all within the span of several weeks, it indicates more than isolated mistakes. It points to weaknesses in machinery calibration, oversight procedures, and end-of-line verification. For a supermarket of Tesco's scale, these are foundational responsibilities. Older adults are put at the greatest risk. A healthy young person might recover quickly from mild food poisoning, but seniors often face dehydration, blood pressure, instability, kidney strain, or hospital stays. When a misprinted date can extend a product's life by 7, 13, or even 18 days, the danger becomes far more than theoretical. It becomes a systemic threat, one that can quietly reach thousands of homes long before recalls are posted. Even employees admit they mistrust short-dated products because they have seen too many errors pass through unchecked. And this, more than any single contaminated item, is the most revealing part of the entire investigation. The risk is not just in what Tesco sells, but in what its safety systems fail to catch. Now that we've examined the risks, it's important to focus on what you can do to protect yourself and your family. The goal is not to create fear, but to give you practical tools, simple steps that make a real difference, especially for older adults who are more sensitive to foodborne illness. The first and most important habit is learning how to read labels correctly. A best before date refers to quality, but a use by date refers to safety. For meat, dairy, dips, ready-to-eat products, and cut vegetables, always treat the use by date as non-negotiable. If the date seems unusually far away or too close compared with similar products, choose another item. With Tesco's history of date printing errors, selecting products with at least 4 to 5 days of remaining shelf life adds an extra level of protection. Next, examine ingredient lists, especially in budget ranges. Look out for high levels of stabilizers, emulsifiers, glucose, fructose syrup, and excessive salt. These ingredients appear frequently in Stockwell Hardy Food Co. and Miss Molly's items. Older adults with high blood pressure, diabetes, or digestive sensitivities should avoid products where water, sugar, or fillers appear as the first 2 ingredients. Choose alternatives when possible. Fresh cuts of meat from the refrigerated section are often safer than heavily processed or frozen budget meats. Plain yogurt, fresh fruit, and simple baked goods tend to have fewer additives than artificially flavored desserts. For ready meals, look for brands with transparent labeling and lower sodium levels. Finally, develop a habit of checking recall notices. Staying informed takes only a few seconds. Many recalls directly affect products older adults buy most often. These small actions help reduce risk, significantly empowering you to shop with more confidence and better protect your health. This investigation has revealed a pattern that every shopper, especially older adults, deserves to understand. From contaminated dips to misprinted dates and low-quality budget items, the issues at Tesco are not just about individual products, but about gaps in the systems meant to keep food safe. When quality controls fail, the people most at risk are those with weaker immunity, chronic health conditions, or limited ability to recover from foodborne illness. But awareness is power. By reading labels, carefully choosing safer alternatives, and paying attention to recalls, families can significantly reduce their exposure to hidden risks. Protecting your health begins with informed choices, and even small adjustments in how you shop can have a lasting impact on your well-being. Before we finish, I want to ask you something directly. Have you ever purchased a product from Tesco that didn't match your expectations, or have you encountered any of the issues discussed in this investigation? Your stories can help other shoppers, especially older adults, stay alert and make safer choices. If you value clear, calm, and evidence-based reports that protect your family's health, consider subscribing so you won't miss future investigations or important recall updates. Thank you for taking the time to watch this report. Your safety matters, and staying informed is one of the strongest protections you have.